This is Marilyn. Do we have audio for this? Yes, we do. Or yes, something else. Audio testing. Thanks. Okay, great. Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn. And it's the time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is the 21st of July, and it is a Thursday. So we've had kind of an interesting morning, and we've had everything slowly kind of chugging along, and then it looks like right about 11:30, I don't know, they just decided to wake up and join the party. One thing that's a little bit unusual this morning is the Japanese yen, the 6C, I'm sorry, the 6J, took off, and I mean, it really made a significant upward move. So for those of you who trade that market, or one of the Forex pairs with the yen, that thing really moved this morning. So earlier we had the VIX down below 12. It was in the 11s. Looks like it's trying to come back up a little bit, which is what you would expect with the indices selling off. If you recall yesterday, these indices had, like a super high. They all hit highs, and the chattering class was chattering. Typically, when we have a day like that, the next day you're going to see a little bit of selling, because there are big traders who are taking some profits. They've been in this for a long time, maybe a couple, 3 months, and so they'll decide it's the middle of July. I'm gonna take off for 6 weeks and come back after Labor Day, and they will start selling those contracts off. So I made a jing here. I'm gonna put this in. You might want to grab it, because this is my tip for the day. This is the exact same. This is the tale of two markets. This is the exact same timeline on gold and on the YM. And I know a lot of people trade the YM. So when you look at that, ask yourself, which chart would you rather trade? And the whole point being that if you have a favorite, Daryl keeps saying over and over to have, when you first start, yes, you have to learn on just one and you focus on that. And one of the indices is usually better, certainly better than trying to do gold or crude oil if you're brand new and a beginner. But the indices will have days like this morning where they just are in that tightly bound range. And if you notice, YM just broke out of Lori's chop box. It sat there, and she refers to that as a coil. But anytime you see those little choppy, bunched up, bunchy apexes like YM had this morning, that is a real caution signal. Real caution signal. Just do not try to trade bunchy, tight, little jammed up apexes like that, because they bite. Wait until it breaks out one way or the other, which it will do, and it will do it with volume. And for those of you who look at the indices, if you check your volume, when these, both the NQ and the YM, broke to the downside, of that choppy range, volume, exceeding volume, lots of volume. And if you notice on the chart I just posted, the YM, why would you not want to trade that? There is no volume. There is no volume, and it just keeps getting worse with time. It didn't get better, got worse. So that's the time to maybe put the price alerts on your chart, one at the top of the box and one at the bottom of your range box, or whatever you use to decide when it's going to break out. And then when you hear the alarm, you can come back and take a look at it, see what happens. So, and yes, Lori makes a real good point. Both YM and NQ had fake breakouts with the wider chop too. So anytime you see this kind of a phenomenon, you know, this is why Daryl keeps saying have one index, one commodity, and one currency. And that gives you a pretty good, you know, a pretty good variety, because there will be days when whatever is your favorite just has a real bad hair day. And I got so disgusted with crude oil this morning, it just didn't want to do anything. And when it looked like it might, there wasn't any volume. So the heck with that. But I did want to show you this bond chart, because bonds really had the, between bonds, oh, whoops. Let's see if I can get this thing back to, oh, you know, this Windows 10, I have to tell you, the one thing I've noticed is it's really hard to grab charts. They get away from you. Either it won't move. Okay. But bonds this morning, my goodness, this was nice. If you, let's see if I can widen this up a little bit and scrunch it. But this morning, it had this, bonds had this kind of choppy thing right in here. It didn't want to do anything. But right about 9 o'clock, yeah, right, just a little before 9, we got an MVP. We got the trend catcher warning. This is confirmation arrow. Trend catcher entry right here. It's below this main. This is a lot of resistance right here. It's the red ice. It's the low of yesterday. I guess that's the green ice. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, when you see these lots and lots and lots of these major streets right here, and it wants to break below there, that's a good resistance. So it decided it just could not break to the upside. So here it came down. If you took this right at the trend catcher, this thing was good for about 20 ticks. I have my ATM set for 10, but with something like this, you could stay in this and just trail with the EMA until you got down here. I mean, 20 ticks in bonds, believe you me, that's fabulous. That'll make your whole day. But then to the upside, if you were going to take this, I just happened to not see it, is the only reason I didn't take it. I was doing something else. But right here, if you took this E, anytime you're going to take these Apex E trades, get in mind what the rules are. The rules are that you take it 2 or 3 ticks above the E, which is where the trend catcher put in the entry for you right here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we got the entry right here, but you over 5 ticks above the P, that ends up being the same thing. But if you took that, remember where your stop is supposed to go, your initial stop. This I would likely have been stopped out on this if I had taken it, but I didn't because I didn't see it. So when I did see it, then what we had was another entry with the trend catcher, and it had an MVP right here. If you missed that, there was still another entry up here at the deviation or just above where both EMAs crossed. And this time when it went up, it was serious because it broke through all this stuff up here and went to settlement. Settlement is the first thing I look at when I sit down to trade in the morning is where's settlement? Where is settlement on whatever it is I'm looking at? Because that's a really, really significant. The markets tend to use that for their comfort blanket. And they will go, if they break through there, they'll go back to it. If they break through to the other way, they likely will go back to it. They really don't want to get too far away from settlement. It's a big magnet. So anyway, let's see what else. I think that's about it. I know we're all anxiously awaiting getting this order flow, which is they're really, really working hard to get this out. So stand by and wait for that. And it's just like Daryl says, it'll be ready when it's ready. So let's see, tomorrow morning is the 22nd. And there's Canadian news numbers coming out at 8:30. Not too much U.S. And tomorrow is options expiration Friday. So there will be some movement perhaps going into the close. Also, if you like to trade YM, be aware that today at 4 o'clock, or, sometimes these numbers get leaked a little early, but both AT&T and Visa are announcing their earnings. Earnings have not been too significant, and I think a lot of these companies they're kind of taking a lead from the current government, and some of these numbers you just kind of have to ask yourself, that's interesting. I wonder where they got that. But it hasn't had too much effect thus far on the markets. But be aware, if you trade those and you trade them into the close, the NQ and the YM, that those are two huge companies that are announcing their earnings at 4 o'clock. So I think Lori's going to go into she's posted her the link to her conference room. People have got some questions. They want some individual help on charts. So by all means, click on that link and get your charts ready to post. If you don't have Jing and you're new to us, we all use Jing.